So it turns out Uber engineers have built an AI clone of their CEO. They basically trained it on his words, and they have like an AI chatbot that mirrors what their CEO would say. And it apparently works well enough that teams use it as training before they actually have a real meeting with the real CEO. And it's got me thinking, like we've spent a lot of time talking about whether AI will replace developers, but nobody's asking the harder question here. You know what I'm talking about, right? So this is a story that's been making the rounds, right? They have built Uber engineers. They built a chatbot that's modeled after their CEO. So they basically taken everything that the CEO has said and written, like earning calls, social media posts, interviews, emails, and basically they've trained a chatbot on it. So teams, when they have to, let's say they have to go present to the CEO, they run the presentation through this chatbot to predict the CEO's reactions, the real CEO's reactions, by seeing what the chatbot says. Honestly, I'm looking at the project. It seems like it's just a fun project, right? So it's just some engineers playing with LLMs. So I don't want to overstate what the project itself is, but it's the idea that it accidentally surfaces. That's what I can't stop thinking about. We have this whole industry-wide debate about AI coming for developer jobs, right? They say 30% productivity gains, so 30% fewer engineers needed, all of that stuff. So here, what the engineers have done isn't a coding bot. They've built a bot which simulates judgment, the CEO's judgment. And it apparently works well enough that people actually trust it. So here's my question. If a leader's decision making is predictable enough to model with an LLM, how much of whole management and leadership work is actually just pattern based? And why is nobody asking if those jobs are automatable? So Uber's CEO, I'm going to mispronounce this name for sure, Dara Khosrowshahi, he was on the Steve Bartlett podcast called Diary of a CEO. It happened a couple of days ago. And during this conversation, he mentioned that some of his engineering teams have built this AI chatbot. They're literally calling it Dara AI, right? Named after the CEO. And they've, like I said, they've fed it publicly available data, and they've used it to create the chatbot that kind of, in theory, it approximates how the real CEO thinks and responds. Okay. And it's actually a very clever thing to do, right? Before you go to a high stakes meeting with the actual CEO, I mean, these are like senior executives, right? So us developer peasants don't get to talk to the real CEO. Come on. It's these guys who actually, as a part of their daily job, go and make presentations to the CEO. They basically run through their presentation to the AI version first, right? They pitch their ideas to the bot, see what kind of pushback you get, what kind of questions it generates, and then they refine the slides based on that feedback. Clever idea, right? Now, before I talk about anything else, I want to acknowledge this thing. And if you're familiar with the LLM technologies, you probably already know what's under the hood here. It's probably some kind of a RAG pipeline, right? They've taken a bunch of public documents, they've chunked it, you've created a bunch of embeddings, wired it up to a language model, and you've got a chatbot. That sounds like whoever wrote those documents, right? It's simple. If you have some experience with RAG and LLM, you should be able to build this in an afternoon, right? So the technical achievement here is not that impressive. And I think that's what makes it more interesting, in fact. The fact that simulating a CEO's judgment is now an afternoon side project for a couple of engineers, that's worth paying attention to, right? It's not the technology, it's just the idea of it. So the Uber CEO, he wasn't worried about it. He found out from a team member that this was happening in his company. And his reaction was basically he was flattered. He was amused. It wasn't like an official sign off. It was like just engineers doing engineer things. It's what it is. It's fine. It's fun. But here's the thing. Over the last couple of years, the entire AI and jobs conversation has been pointing in one direction. It's going down the chain, right? AI is coming for people who make things, who create things. So you're thinking about developers, you're thinking about designers, writers, artists. They're people who create stuff, right? That's the debate. Every headline, every conference talk, every YouTube video, they say, okay, will AI replace software engineers? How many juniors will lose their job? What happens to creative work? But this isn't creative work, right? They built a bot to simulate judgment of a person who decides things, right? Who decides which projects get funded, who decides strategic direction for the company. And apparently works well enough for certain use cases. So this accidentally asks a question that I don't think many people in the industry are asking if a leader's decision making patterns are predictable enough to model with an LLM trained on public data, how much of the actual leadership work is actually pattern recognition? And are those patterns more automatable than we think? Uber reported about 30% productivity gains from AI tools for their engineers. And Dara uses that number to argue that we should hire more engineers. I know it's a bit of a weird argument if you look at the podcast interview. I found it to be a little weird as well. So basically, what he says is AI is making engineers more productive. So actually, we want to hire more engineers. So we want to do more. And I can easily imagine some other CEO somewhere else in the industry looking at the 30% productivity number and reaching the opposite conclusion, which is probably the more common conclusion. They use it as justification for laying people off. Since engineers are 30% productive, more productive, you need 30% less engineers. You have the same data, and now we have two opposite decisions from that same data. So my point here is this is a CEO decision and it's a judgment call. A human leader looked at the data and made a strategic decision. But notice what the judgment call actually is. This is perhaps a CEO in a market who's like he's somebody who wants to attract talent, maybe, and he's choosing the interpretation of the data that best serves his recruiting and public narrative, right? It's basically some pattern based on how the Uber CEO operates. You ask another CEO, perhaps a Salesforce CEO, he's probably going to go, well, we probably need to cut people because people are more productive. And that's a pattern that you can probably predict, right? And these kind of patterns are exactly the thing that the LLM can actually learn and do well with. So let's think about this seriously. What do leaders and managers actually do day to day, right? What's their work? They prioritize, right? They allocate resources. They evaluate proposals like whether to fund this project or that project. They decide to make go or no go calls. They communicate strategy. And if something goes wrong, they respond to crisis. And if you've worked in the industry for a while, you start noticing that a lot of these decisions follow certain patterns. If you take an experienced executive, he or she has probably seen hundreds of product proposals. After a while, they kind of develop some heuristics. This type of project tends to do well. This type of project tends to fail. And basically, that's what experience largely is. It's that internalized pattern recognition. And the Dara AI works precisely because of this. A CEO's public statements kind of reveal these consistent patterns. There are these common priorities, values, decision frameworks, and the LLM is great at modeling those patterns. And the output is useful enough that people are actually using it to prepare for real meetings. But I must also mention, some leadership moments are not pattern based. Okay, so for example, let's say there is some kind of a crisis that no one has seen before, or some kind of a complex ethical dilemma that has no precedent. I don't know if CEOs these days even bother with ethics, but just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they have to deal with some complex ethical decision making. Well, that may not be something that the LLM has ever seen before for that particular CEO, right? It has to just guess. These are moments that, in my opinion, define good leadership, right? This is what makes good leaders stand out. And this is not exactly the kind of thing that the LLM can be trained on with historical data. And it's hard to find historical data to kind of get that correlation for these one-off things, because by definition, LLMs can only reproduce what's already been said and done before, if it has a pattern that it's already seen and done before. So I think the question isn't binary. It's not like, can AI replace CEOs or leaders, yes or no? The question is, what percentage of the CEO's work, what percentage of leadership work is a pattern? And what percentage actually requires genuine, novel judgment? And if the answer is something like, okay, 80% is pattern based and 20% is actually novel judgment, that's a very different conversation than we've been having. Yeah. So it turns out there's actually a peer reviewed research on this exact phenomenon. Right. I'm going to paste the link to this paper in the description. And people have studied the concept called manager clone agents. Basically, can we make agents, AI agents, do the work of managers? Essentially, what the Uber engineers built. The academic research on manager clone agents identifies 4 intended roles. These are the 4 roles that the manager does: proxy presence, information conveyor, productivity engine, and leadership amplifier. But it also warns that these agents risk encoding a single individual's biases and assumptions into ongoing operations, effectively fossilizing one person's decision making patterns. That's the key word here, fossilizing. Basically, freezing a snapshot of a leader's decision making. Okay, you take Dara AI, right? A Dara AI doesn't capture the CEO's ability to change his mind. It captures a single snapshot of how he thought based on the training data that was available at that time, right? At the single snapshot of the time that it was built. So the more teams use it, the more the organization optimizes for a historic version of the CEO's thinking, not his current thinking, not his evolving thinking. It is a frozen version as of the material that was available at that time. That's what this research says, which is what it calls fossilizing thinking. And the second problem that this paper hints at is if every team is running their ideas through the same model and it is optimizing for the same set of predicted reactions, you get what's called convergence. So basically, here's the idea, right? Everyone's presenting ideas to Dara AI because they think like, okay, if we get Dara AI to say yes, then the real CEO will say yes, which means, and if the Dara AI says no to something, they tweak it until the Dara AI says yes. So what it actually means is that the real Dara is seeing a narrower and narrower range of proposals. He's kind of going to confirmation bias, right? He's seeing only the things that are likely for him to say yes to, right? So this tool that was supposed to help teams prepare better is actually filtering out the kind of things that he might not like or things it might not like. So kind of the dissent, the contrarian thinking that challenges the leadership, it's all gone. It's all filtered away, right? You only get things which the CEO is going to say yes to. And from what I've seen working in tech, most management decisions do follow patterns, right? You have all these key decisions that leaders do. They basically follow industry playbooks. The genuinely novel decisions are very rare, but rarity is what actually makes them so important. It's that moment that a leader is forced to do something which is unique and different. That's what sets organizations apart, because if everybody is doing average, every organization is average. But okay, suppose everything that I said here is true, right? Suppose 80% of leadership is pattern based and technically automatable. There is still one fundamental reason why we might not want to automate it. And it has nothing to do with the quality of decisions. Let's say you come up with the perfect AI, which can do exactly what the CEO would do, right? Or exactly what a leader would do. You still want a human. Why? Accountability. Because think about it. When a CEO makes a bad call, someone is responsible, right? The board can fire him or her. Regulators can question them. Government, Congress can put them in a chair and make them explain themselves. There is a human being who bears the consequence of the decision. An AI clone has none of that, right? If Dara AI gives guidance on a decision that the team takes and then goes in the wrong direction, who's responsible? Nobody. And AI isn't accountable. And this isn't like, I'm not talking about some philosophical point. This is structural. Any company, any organization needs humans as someone who is in charge and to be held into account, right? You can't fire an algorithm or an LLM. You can't put a chatbot in front of a congressional hearing and ask it why you made certain decisions. Although in certain cases, some chatbots might be better than some CEOs who have sit in the congressional hearings in the past. But again, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, the point is, if an AI version of a CEO issues some guidance, does that carry the same kind of weightage as an actual directive from the CEO's office? I don't think so. And this is where I'm landing on. I'm not pretending that this is the final answer, but this is where my thinking goes, right? The strongest argument for keeping humans in leadership might have, I can't believe I'm making an argument for not firing CEOs and replacing them with LLMs, especially after we developers have had so much of this backlash to deal with about AI taking over our jobs. But here's what I'm doing. I'm defending having humans in leadership position and not have it be automated. And the reason is accountability. Whether it's a bad decision or whether a human can actually probably end up doing a worse decision than a chatbot will, we still need a human for accountability if something goes wrong. Somebody needs to take the blame. Someone needs to be the person who stands up and says, that was my call. Or even if that person doesn't stand up, others need to be able to point a finger and say, it was this person's call and that was wrong. Right? An algorithm can never do that. I think it's a bit of a profound thing to think about if it ends up that that's what leadership is, right? Maybe leadership was never about decision quality. It was maybe about just accountability. So if you step back and look at this project, it is a simple fun side project that engineers at Uber have built. The technology is very simple, but the question that it accidentally asks is not simple at all. We've spent way too much time debating about AI taking over developer jobs, and maybe the debate is important, but the more interesting question is about people who make decisions, not people executing them, right? Not because I'm not saying management is next on the chopping block for AI, but I don't think people are asking this. Is leadership pattern based? And the accountability argument might end up being the strongest case for keeping humans in charge. It could also be an equivalent for developers. Maybe we need developers as humans precisely for the accountability angle, because if something goes wrong, we need an engineering team to handle it. So maybe in all levels of the organization, someone has to be responsible when things go wrong, and you can't hold a language model responsible. So I'm still thinking about this one, honestly. I don't have a clear answer, but I'm curious what you think. What is the main reason we need human leaders? Do we need human leaders? Is it the quality of their decisions? Or is my theory right? We just need a human to be held accountable. Drop your take in the comments. I'm curious to hear.